Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Jazakallah khair for joining me for lesson number 7 as part of the online Islamic Madrasah course for the children. Now, in this chapter, inshallah, we're going to focus on the angels. The Arabic word for angel is malik, and the plural, meaning this is a singular, so the plural means more than one. It's malaika. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created the angels, and He created them just as He created man and everything else. So they are made of light. Okay, so the angels were created from light. We cannot see them, but we know they are there. Why do we know they're there? Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has told us to believe in them. We know that there are two angels that are always recording what we say. This is because Allah's messenger told us. So remember, in the last video we talked about, in the last lesson we talked about how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala speaks to his messengers to send us a message. Okay, so he sends the humans a message through his own chosen messengers, and they then give us a message. And those messengers, when they came, they told us certain things. So the Prophet ﷺ told us about angels, and that it is why we believe in them. The angels are Allah's servants. They obey him all the time. They carry out all his commands. They have no power to disobey him. Now, there's a very important point to think about here. Why is it that the humans can disobey Allah and the angels cannot? There is a difference. The angels, the way they were created, they don't have power. Yes, they don't. But we do have the power to disobey or obey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So why is that? Why do we have the ability or the chance? Why are we able to disobey Allah? What is the difference? Want you to think about that for a minute. I am going to answer it, but if you don't want to hear the answer and you want to take a good guess, pause the video and then replay it just to check if you've got the answer. So again, think about why the angels are created with no power, why they don't disobey Allah, and why is it that the humans can disobey Allah. What is the difference? Okay, so I will read the next portion and then I will come back to the answer for that. Allah wanted man to obey him, so he sent Angel Jibreel to the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Angel Jibreel told the Prophet ﷺ what Allah wanted man to do. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does want man to obey him. So he told the messengers to tell us what to do, what is good for us and what is bad for us, and asked us to obey him. Now, coming back to this point here, hopefully you've already listed your answer. So I'm going to give you the answer now. So if you don't want to hear the answer, it's a good time to pause the video if you still need time to think about the answer. So the angels, the reason why they can disobey, why they only obey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and why the humans, meaning us, why we can disobey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, what is the difference? It's because we have free will. We have free will. So free will means that we can freely decide what to do. We have the opportunity to do good, and we have the opportunity to choose bad. We could do both. We could choose good, we could choose bad. The angels don't have a choice. They don't have a free will. They only choose to do good. That's how they were created. They were created with no free will. That's the reason why they don't have any power. And the fact that we have power means that we have free will. We could choose to do good and we could choose to do bad. So when we choose to obey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, after he has given us that free will, the opportunity, he's given us the chance to either listen or not to listen. So for example, especially the younger ones, I want to explain this a little bit more for the younger ones who are watching. Now, for you all, when mommy asks you to do something, sometimes you may listen to her and sometimes you will not listen to her. Now, that's not a good thing, by the way, if you're not listening to your mom or your dad. When they tell you to do something, you should always listen. We should obey our parents. So say that you don't listen to your mom or your dad when they ask you to do something, and this is the same for older kids as well. Probably a bit more for the older kids because at that age you're probably a bit more, um, inclined not to do something. So if you've been asked to do something and you don't do it, now here you are disobeying. You have the ability, the chance, or the free will to say no. You have that. You can say no. But the younger children, some of the younger children might not be using their free will. They'll be submitting. They will obey their parents. And it's like the angels. The angels obey Allah just because they don't have any free will. They don't have the chance to say no. That's the reason they don't have the power. But we as humans, we have the chance and we have the power to say no. But even after that chance to say no, we still obey Allah, then we are, inshallah, a better creation. We are better than the angels. We are higher than the angels. Why? Because we chose to obey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We chose to listen to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, even after He gave us a free will, the opportunity, the chance to not to listen. So if you have the chance not to listen and then you choose to listen, of course you will be better than those who have no power to say no. So it's like, not having a choice in the matter. The angels have no choice in the matter. We have a choice. And after having a choice, if we still go and obey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that we are the best creation. Why? Because we are listening to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and choosing to obey Him because of our free will, because we chose to listen to Him. We are choosing now to listen to Him. And that is better than somebody or a creation that has no power but to listen to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So that's the difference. So obeying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you get more rewards because of the way you were created. So you can choose to say no or choose to say yes. But of course, if we choose to not to listen to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we are harming ourselves. We are just harming ourselves, because if we don't listen to Him, then we are not obeying Allah. We are not listening to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and we may get into a lot of trouble. Okay, so if we don't listen to the things that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us, like good things to do, then we may get into trouble by not doing the things that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us. For example, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us to be good, to be kind. So if you don't be good or kind, and you be horrible to somebody, or you bully somebody, if you're bullying somebody and that person is crying and they're sad, and they go home and they tell their parents and everybody's sad, you've hurt somebody. So when you hurt somebody, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't like that we hurt anybody. So we have to really understand, if we go to school and our friends are being bullies, then we have to tell them, especially if they're Muslims, look, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't like those who upset others. And remember, those who you upset, if they make dua, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will accept their dua, because you're upsetting them. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will be on those people's side that you are bullying or you're upsetting. So don't be bullies, and don't let other people be bullies. Stand up for other people. If your friends are being bullies, talk to your friends. Even if they're non-Muslims, tell them it's not a nice thing to do. We should not be bullies, and we should not upset other people. I mean, we wouldn't like, and ask them, would you like to be upset? So make sure that you obey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Be kind to each other. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us to be kind to one another. So think about how you, even though you can disobey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when you obey Him, you will get more advantage. It will be better for you to obey Him. Why? Because if you don't, then bad things can happen. If you don't listen to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then bad things can happen. And that means sometimes if you're not listening to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you start to listen to shaitan, and shaitan makes you do bad things. So that's when you may become unkind to somebody, or you may say something that is not very kind to somebody. So inshallah, think about that, and think about all your friends. If there's somebody is doing that to anybody, bullying them, please make sure that you stand up to them and tell them, explain to them not to do it. And if not, then report them, because that's important. We shouldn't ignore bad behavior. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wanted man to obey Him, So he sent Angel Jibreel Islam to the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. So Angel Jibreel told the Prophet ﷺ what Allah wanted man to do. So he's made it clear what he wants us to do. So we need to listen to the prophets. We need to listen to the the Quran. We need to read the Quran because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us He's talking to us through the Quran. He is telling us what He wants us to do, and the Prophet ﷺ told us through the Hadiths. So Jibreel Islam brought the Quran to the Prophet ﷺ at the command of Allah, and this was the duty of Jibreel Islam. Allah sent Angel Jibreel to the Prophet before Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. So he sent him to all the other prophets. The job or the duty of Angel Jibreel Islam is to bring down revelation. There are many angels. Different angels do different duties. Angel Jibreel Islam is one of them. Every one of us has two angels who maintain with him at all times. They never leave him. Okay, so there is some discussion or debate about whether the angels leave you or not, but we won't discuss that because it's quite a large discussion, and there's lots of different points to discuss, which we won't complicate it at the moment. These two angels that are with you all the time, they will write down everything that you do or say. So if you are being unkind to somebody, or you've shouted, or you've said a bad word, so using bad language, lying, anything that you say, it gets recorded. So please make sure that you are really thinking about your actions here, because they are being written down. But do remember, if you intend to do a good thing, so there's a very nice, a beautiful hadith I want to share with you all. If you think about doing a good thing and you do not do that good thing, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala writes it down for you as a good deed. If you thought of doing a good deed and then you actually did it, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala writes twice a good deed 2 times. If you thought of doing a bad deed in your mind and you didn't do that bad deed, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala writes it down for you as not as a good deed, because you thought of doing something bad but you stopped yourself. So well done, mashallah. Now, if you thought of doing something bad and you did it, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will just write it down as one bad deed. So remember, if you thought of doing something good and then you did something good, you get 2 points really, because you thought of doing something good and you actually did it. So you got 2 points there. But say you just thought of doing something bad and you didn't do it, then you get a point for that. So mashallah, the angels are giving you lots and lots of different points. So it's only when you do something bad that the angels will write it down for you. So make sure you're really thinking about your bad action. Even if you think about doing a bad action, don't do it. Stop yourself. And once you stop yourself, inshallah, you will get a good point for not doing that bad action or bad thing. So for example, if going back to saying unkind words, if you sometimes you're very, very angry at somebody, maybe you're angry at your parents, maybe you're angry at your friends or your brothers or sisters, your siblings, and you want to say something really bad or cruel to them, stop and think. Say A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Read that so the anger can go away, and don't do what the shaitan is telling you at that time, because he's whispering to you. So be strong enough and fight him. Fight the shaitan. Be strong enough. Read your istiadas, which is A'udhu billah. Read them all the time when you are angry, and don't do the bad action. Control the bad actions. Inshallah, you will be rewarded for that. So the angels, they remain with every person except at certain times. Students can take guidance from the teacher. So here it means certain times. So for example, some say that when you go to the bathroom, this is when the angels leave you. Now, there is a big debate. Some say no, that is not the case. The angels stay with you. So that is the only difference. Whether they leave you or not, because there's so much to discuss here, inshallah. So inshallah, we'll try and discuss that in lesson, so just we could take some questions. But there is 2 different opinions. So one opinion is that they do leave you when you go into the bathroom, when you go to the toilet, they leave you. And the other opinion is they don't leave you, they stay with you all the time. So that is only the 2 different opinions. Inshallah, we will have a look at that later in a lesson. Write the answers to the following questions. What is the Arabic word for angels? So here we are talking about plural angels, not angel, not one. We're talking about many. Who created the angels? What are the angels made of? So you have to go back and check your information. Inshallah, they're very simple questions. So you should be able to answer them, inshallah. A Muslim believes in the angels even if he cannot see them. And we mentioned that we believe in them because we were told about them by the messengers. Okay, so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent messengers to tell us that there are angels, and that is why we believe in them. And you have a lovely picture here for you to color, inshallah. I'm sure you all have the book by now. If you do not, then ask your parents, your mom or dad, to message the institute messages, and we will inshallah give you the book. Jazakallah for watching. Inshallah, next lesson we're going to, or in the next video, what we're going to do is look at chapter number 8. Jazakallah for watching. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.